Come with me on an exciting literary journey through 2019. Together, we'll explore a fabulous selection of 19th and 20th century classics. For each novel, you'll receive an illustrated monograph, which will tell you intriguing stories about the author behind the book, explain its themes, tempt you with film versions to watch, and challenge you with discussion questions. I love to share my passion for great literature, and it would be wonderful to have you join me in this literary exploration. We start the year with Evelyn Waugh's moving and nostalgic Brideshead Revisited. The 1981 11-part television adaptation was pure gorgeousness and remains one of the most critically acclaimed film adaptations of a book ever made. Join me in Oxford, Venice, and an English stately home. Delve into Catholicism, adultery, and lashings of eccentricity, and explore this much-loved novel. February will hopefully be the best month of your year, for you will be reading Jane Austen's Emma. I hope to persuade you as we discuss its depth, richness, psychological complexity and humour that this is the world's greatest novel. When three men and Montmorency the dog take a 2-week boating holiday on the Thames, the result is misadventure, bribery, lots of rain and confusion. Intended as a serious travel guide, Three Men in a Boat was somehow hijacked by comedy. Jerome K. Jerome's novel is one of the funniest books I know. I hope you'll laugh over it with me. Do you know which English novel has inspired more film versions than any other? It's The Hound of the Baskervilles. Sir Arthur Conan Doyle set up practice as a young doctor, but few patients appeared, so he filled in the time by scribbling stories about a remarkable detective. Join me and the world's greatest sleuth in the exciting world of Grimpen Mire, a shady lepidopterist, and a huge and terrifying hound. The German writer Thomas Mann once said that if one had to reduce one's library to only 6 novels, then Effi Briest would be one of them. My May selection is THEODOR Fontane's Prussian novel about repression and adultery. This is one of the great 19th century novels of realism, and it's a moving and memorable tale of a woman's loneliness. I hope you'll enjoy being introduced to a book you may not know. The Necklace, by French writer Guy de Maupassant, is often considered the perfect example of the art of the short story. Hard and glittering like a diamond, its every word chosen with care, this short story simply could not be improved. Join me in June in examining its perfections, its themes, and its characters. The past is a foreign country. They do things differently there. This is one of the best opening lines ever. L.P. Hartley's novel, The Go-Between, is a coming-of-age story and also an attack on the hypocrisies of late Victorian society. Join me in July to revel in this jewel of a novel. Samuel Butler was not brave enough to publish his semi-autobiographical novel The Way of All Flesh in his lifetime. It was an explosive attack on his parents, their hypocrisy, and on the church. Both George Orwell and A. A. Milne adored its courageous topic and its plain style. Let's discuss this fascinating book, its controversies and its merits in August. Whenever I reread Cakes and Ale by W. Somerset Maugham, I want to go cycling with Rosie down English country lanes and share a fish supper and buns with her and Ted. This was Maugham's own favourite amongst his works. He too fell under Rosie's spell. Get to know Rosie and her friends in Cakes and Ale next September. Few novels have a more powerful and shattering closing line than does Henry James's Washington Square. James is not the easiest of authors, but the story of poor Catherine Sloper is his most accessible book and, in my view, his most charming one. Come with me to rich New York and enter a fictional home in Washington Square. I'm sure you've read Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte, but have you read its prequel, the 1966 Wide Sargasso Sea by Jean Rhys, which describes the background to Mr. Rochester's marriage? Bertha Mason wasn't always the mad woman in the attic. Meet her in Jamaica when she was sane and attractive, and be encouraged to think about Charlotte Bronte's classic novel in a very new way. Let's end the year with a real groundbreaker of a book. The Moonstone by Wilkie Collins is generally considered to be the first detective novel, and it established many of the ground rules of the genre. Diamonds, theft, a policeman who loves roses, and a love story. The Moonstone has it all. A classic, it is said, is a book that has never finished saying what it has to say. I do hope you will join me in 2019 in exploring some great works of literature and their authors, and that you will share my delight in reading this selection of fabulous books.